dreaming a new horizon, and a day it all came true. Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Home sweet home, oh home sweet home, home sweet home.
You're listening to Home Sweet Home with Russ, McClellan, and friends. And here's Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan, and I now have a friend. Michael Maher is on the line. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Russ. How's it going? Happy to be here and be your audience of one now.
Yeah,
two. No.
Yeah, you're calling in, in the land of COVID. In the show, we've been talking a little bit about once upon a time, where we were, where we're at, maybe where we're going, and you just spent some time with Prime Lending with a state leading economist. And we have over 70 real estate brokers just at Keller Williams and growing each and every month. And I bet if I pulled all 70, I'd probably get, like most of the time with people, you get 70 different answers about what's going to happen next. And nobody has that proverbial crystal ball. But all you can do is look to the indicators and the analytics that you do know and try to make your best prediction based on those indicators. And there's a lot of people right now in my firm that are wondering, they're hearing from people, their buyers, for example, I should wait and not buy right now because this is going to crash, or rates are going to, stay the same, or rates are going to go up. Could you kind of give me an idea? One of these indicators we do know about is forbearances. I don't know, I heard a stat, you might have a different one because it seems like it changes or depends on who you hear it from, but like 3+ million people are in a forbearance program right now, which means you're not making your payment for a certain amount of time, and there's no way anybody can foreclose on you, at least until like September of 2021 is what I heard. But maybe you could fill me in on what you know after that experience with that lead economist recently.
Yeah, well, he basically went into, not just what interest rates and the housing market was going to do, but since we're kind of tiered towards that show, I mean, all things, he thinks that for the most part, things are going to start to get back to normal as far as the economy. Jobs are going to start to open up a little bit more as things open up, as restaurants are able to have more than 25% capacity and such. But what was really interesting is listening to the rate question, because I'm having a lot of discussions with people recently that think, you know what, this is all coming to a crash. Meanwhile, we have, offers going 150,000 over asking on both the west side of the mountains and in north central Washington. It's just a crazy time to be in this market. But basically, all signs point to rates slowly starting to increase. They simply have to. They've been at record lows for so long that, they're going to have to start to slowly increase. And he thinks they could be in the mid threes. Again, no one has a crystal ball by the end of 2021. And what this tells me, and what a lot of people may not realize, is that say, prices do go down, but rates go up. So you're going to buy a 300. This is just an example that I just ran this morning. Say right now you can buy a $400,000 house, not including mortgage insurance or taxes or homeowners insurance, anything like that. You just get a base payment with 20% down at about $1,350 with a rate of, say, 2.875. Well, say you wait till the end of this year to buy and prices do go down, and you're able to pick that same home up for $350,000, but your rate went up to 3.875. You have the same exact payment now, and you're paying more in interest, significantly more. So the cost of that opportunity cost just costs you more money. Yeah, you got the home for a slightly better price. However, you're paying way more in interest, and it's simply usually better to just get in now while interest rates are low. And take advantage of them while you can right now with a better buying power that you're able to do and purchase more home.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many perspectives that come into play. But that's a very good point. The cost of money typically on a big asset rules the day. One of the things that I brought up, I bring up a lot, is that, one of the differences in 2008 versus right now, yeah, sure, that was a very, very strong market leading right up to 2008. But the interest rate, the federal fund rate was at 6.25%. The federal fund rate now is at 0, or pretty close to it. And that raising interest rates was one of the problems among many problems in the mortgage business back in the 2000s, up to 2008 crisis, that are a little different now. For example, now you do have to qualify for a loan. 2008, you didn't have to. Stated income loans.
You just breathed and you were able to get one.
Yeah, you had they called them liar loans, and you qualified on interest only. Well, the problem was those were 2 to 10 year adjustable rate mortgages that would jump in some cases $400 or $500 a month on a $300,000 loan. Well, when you think about Americans, historically living, paycheck to paycheck, $400 or $500 hammer led to some problems, right? So there's a lot of differences between now. I mean, with the federal rate being so low, and I would also add what we talked about in this show, supply and demand. When you really look at the indicators, and it's not that easy to go just build another 100 homes. Even if 100 homes or 200 homes or 500 homes hit the market in foreclosure, I'm afraid that the demand might gobble those up. And then you're going to wait, and then that interest rate is higher. Payment's going to be the same, but like you said, you're going to have a tremendous amount of interest expense, and it's going to take longer to pay off that house. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, what are programs doing, Michael, right now with people in general, and are you seeing any change in the qualification standards?
When COVID kind of kicked off, everything got tightened really quickly. That was back in March of 2020. And then, into basically all of 2020, up until probably October, when things started to get back to normal a little bit. But there's still some very strict guidelines, especially relating to forbearances, that are sticking around to be determined. I mean, for the unforeseeable future. And what those have to do with is, if you are in forbearance, that's okay. It's not affecting your credit, just so long as you have reached out to whoever you're making your payment to, the servicer. It might be your bank, it might be a dedicated servicer, and you've put that into forbearance with them and entered into an agreement. In order to refinance or purchase another home, you either need to have made 3 consecutive payments after the home has been out of forbearance. So 3 payments after you've agreed to start making your payments again, and you've made an agreement on whatever back owed payments you have as well. Either it was paid for up front and you came into a large sum of money and you were able to settle it, or I think what most people are going to end up doing is tacking on it to the end of the loan, and then that servicer just extends the term. So those are kind of I've been seeing that a lot more lately, is people wanting to refinance and such. And actually right now, you cannot refinance and pull cash out to get yourself basically caught up with those payments. So you either have to, get back on the horse, so to speak, and make those payments for 3 months, then you can refinance. Or you need to lump sum it, or honestly, and this gives a lot of people a unique opportunity if they're still struggling to find work or, still falling on hard times, is to turn around and sell the home, because of how much these homes are going for above and beyond listing. And obviously I would never guarantee someone's going to get above and beyond that. But just from the current market that we're seeing right now, there's no reason to go into a foreclosure. You should have at least enough equity to where you can walk away, and then, if a year or two you're back to getting your finances steady, you can turn around and buy a home. But as soon as you go into foreclosure, there's a whole nother timeline that starts, and you just want to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the traps that we did get into when everybody didn't have to qualify. The game plan back in the 2007-8 run. And for millennials, and a lot of people, they don't remember that, but the game was just refinance, just refinance, just refinance. It'll always go up. It'll always go up. Well, it was a little different program when you didn't have to qualify, right? You know, you just kept pulling cash, pulling cash, you know, and everybody was rich until, you know, eventually it busted. There was a lot more reason. I mean, the movie The Big Short is a cool movie because of that. But this time, you know, people are actually qualifying for loans. There is a unique set of circumstances. The very basic one is you're able to work from home now, and that's changed the game a little bit. There are people that are given the green light to move to North Central Washington. So within macroeconomics, there's always microeconomics. Macro being the United States, for example, or the world. Micro could be our state, the Northwest, or our town. And on this side of the mountains, we have some serious supply constraints, as we've talked about. And I'm just afraid that if you're not careful, what's going to happen is this could happen. Nobody guarantees, but rates could stay low, and prices could keep going up for another year, 2 years, because real estate isn't a day trading environment like stock, right? So this is the Great Recession of 2008 started in 2005 in hindsight, right? So what I'm saying is you might wait so long that eventually rates climb up, but the appreciation rate, I think you made this point earlier, has accelerated. I mean, last year was 17% roughly across the board, and we're down 75% in listing inventory from last year to this year at this time. 75% in 1 year. We have some catching up to do.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good point. And, you know, you guys, Mike, what's your number? Because people need to get a hold of you.
Yeah, I am in Wenatchee, and I have a home in Iniat. So it is a 425-760-8824. Don't hate me. I don't have a 509 number, but I've had that number for so long that I decided to keep it just because everyone's got it.
Yeah, I think those days are gone. They love you.
Yeah.
There's nobody better than Michael and Sharon Crockett at Prime Lending. Thanks for calling in, bud.
Thanks.
You'll always give people a free consultation. So anytime, anywhere. Hey, get outside. Spread the word of being nice, right? Treat people like you want to be treated. Quit judging people every 5 seconds and go play catch with your friends. Play bocce ball. All right. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
Day just came my way. I bought a new home, yeah, home, sweet home, oh, home, sweet home. Keller Williams, I love my dream home.